Sadhanas from Ribhu Gita by His Holiness Sri Swami Shantananda Puri Maharaj. Chapter 22. All concepts on Brahman and world being a void. In the Ribhu Gita, many things are repeated many times. For a worldly person, they may even look boring. For a real seeker, the repetition of certain important truths are meant to be deeply entrenched in the subconscious mind. Hence, a repetition even 1,000 times is but inadequate for that purpose. Similarly, there are many direct contradictions. At one time, it is said that Dhamma, that is control of senses, and Sama, that is control of mind, are both Brahman, only which is existence, consciousness, etc. In another place, it is said that Dhamma and Sama have no existence, and they are false. It only means that these practices are all Brahman only, and their existence as Brahman is true. Nothing else has an independent existence of its own separate from the Brahman. All those forms which make them look separate are all false from the ultimate point of view. This entire world looks as if it is something to be seen because of the conditioning of the mind. It does not exist in reality. The Atman, the Supreme Self, that is Paramatma, and Jivatma, the individual self, none of these exist separately. Always meditate like this. None of the following exists in reality. I am the body. I have no form. I have the ultimate knowledge. I am of the form of cause and effect. Whatever happens in the world, whatever sadhanas are being done, whatever is without an end and meditation on the Brahman are all created by the mind. That is, the thoughts. This entire world can be considered either as a product of the mind or as Brahman. The knowledge of the self is the supreme Brahman. The nearest sign or symbol of the Brahman being Om, the japa or the repetition of Om bestows one with bliss. In the absence of anything other than it, the self alone is conducive of the good of the self. It is the self which puts the end in delusion. There is nothing other than the self. Self-knowledge is the supreme Brahman. It is the happiness beyond all happiness. There is nothing greater than self-knowledge. There is nothing to be remembered other than the self-knowledge. All is Brahman. You are yourself the Brahman. At all times you have to come to this firm conviction. The conviction that I am the Brahman is the greatest liberation. By this only one accomplishes all the duties which one has to do in this life. This is the bliss of all times. I am the Brahman. This alone will destroy all the bondage, no doubt. I am the Brahman. This alone is the conclusion of all systems of philosophies. I am the Brahman is the final conclusion of all the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. This is also the conclusion of Shaiva Siddhanta. This is the conclusion of Narayana, that is Advaita philosophy. The teachings of gods and all masters. This represents the essence of the teachings of all philosophies. This is the experiential wisdom. All the following things should be renounced and one has to steadily abide in the self. 1. The eternal experience of bliss and the world created by the mind. 2. The idea of existence such as this or I am or the world is. 3. One's delusion that one is an individual and one's own birth and death. 4. the existence of a Maya, that is grand delusion, the existence of a mind which appears as the world and all teachings of the Vedas and scriptures. 5. The concepts such as there is only one entity. Talking of duality, the delusion that I am Shiva or I am the Brahman, the creator. 6. Everything exists or does not exist. 7. The world is full of sorrows or is full of happiness, is real or unreal, or is of duality or non-duality. 8. Whether the world is as per the Vedas or as per other scriptures. 9. Whether the world is full of evil or righteousness. 10. All this world does not exist. All is only Brahman. 11. Adoption of silence and silent activities. 12. That which is to be grasped, that which is to be abandoned. 13. Desires, anger, greed and all hypocrisy. 14. Inquiry into the true significance of the Mahavakya, that thou art. One should leave all things like the ones illustrated above and steadily abide in the Atman. Leave off all concepts fabricated by the mind, the body sense that I am the body, all the limitations due to the ego, etc., and the various concepts as follows. 1. The duality of the japa of Om Namah Shivaya and of Narayana, the God of the 8-lettered mantra, that is Om Namo Narayanaya. 2. The reality of the 5 types of pranas, that is vital elan, and the assisting upapranas, the one who acts at the time of yawning, etc. 3. The joy of self-knowledge, condemning those who lack in it. The pranayama and the inquiry into the 6 spiritual centers, that is plexuses, in the backbone. 4. Condemning or praising all objects of the world. Abandon the idea that all is Brahman and steadily abide in your own self. All the 3 bodies, gross, subtle and causal, are only Brahman. Realize this always, every moment. Just by hearing this chapter for 1 or half a minute even, one becomes entitled to become the Brahman. Here ends chapter 22.